guys, and welcome back to Couch Critics. I'm Lamia.
And I'm Ruby, and today we're gonna review Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield's latest movie, We
Mhm.
Live in Time.
Yeah, it's since it's Halloween, we decided to watch something scary and to scare ourselves a little bit. This honestly, like this movie has been scarier than like all the horror movies
I
that I
agree.
watched
Yeah.
combined, and I did watch every single horror movie that came out around this Halloween, and even like the old ones, the classics, and I was fine, but I was emotionally destroyed after this one.
For reference, it's a romance and
Yeah,
drama movie,
and even
but
like the mood, like we get there. Honestly, it was my fault. Like I didn't watch the trailer.
yeah.
Like I watched a few clips of it, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a story about the girl next door who meets this cute guy and they fall in love, etc. But like we get to the movie theater. The theater is packed. There are literally almost no more available seats. We find like two seats in the front. We get there, and then like people have like
Tissue boxes.
tissue boxes right next to them, and Ruby's like, we need one, and I'm like, why do we need one? Like, I don't like this. This is not what I sign up for usually. I hate this.
I was sobbing during that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, we did use the tissue boxes.
Yeah.
So
So, We Live in Time. It's a movie about a couple who meets because the girl runs over the guy by accident in her car as he's going to buy a pen to sign his divorce papers. It was a very nice meet cute for a meeting scene, and then they just start falling in love. They start dating. They have a kid together, and then the character played by Florence Pugh ends up getting cancer for the second time. So she had it first time, then she had her kid, and then she had it a second time. And yeah, basically it's about their story. But what I really liked about this movie is even though it was a movie about Florence having cancer, it wasn't the main focus of the movie.
yeah.
She is a chef. She has her own restaurant. She's in love with Andrew, and Andrew is in love with her. And their life is just she focuses on her restaurant, her competitions, her career, and at the same time, she's not this extreme career-driven person who wants to like
Mhm.
who's like very eager about her success, but she is very competitive and she looks like she's a very successful character. So it was a nice balance, I
Mhm.
think. It's a nice portrayal.
I totally agree. I totally loved the fact that it wasn't about her disease, although it's a huge part of her life. And I was kind of scared, like going into this movie, I was kind of scared that they're gonna like try to win our empathy by using the disease. And whenever like movies do that, I just find it too easy. Like, unless you are someone who have been through that, or like who have been around someone who have been through that, I don't think normal people who haven't experienced something as dramatic as that should do movies about diseases.
Yeah.
It's just an easy route to gain money, and it's not. It doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
And so I was scared of that. But when I watched the movie, I did like, to me the movie was so many things at once. It was a love story, and it was also a fight story, a story about fighting for yourself, fighting for your health. It's also a guide on how to be a great parent, because
Yeah.
both of them were wonderful parents. Like, the scene when I first, like, the first scene that made me cry was the scene where she shaved her head, and she made it such a happy moment for her kid, when it's just a heartbreaking moment to
Yeah.
have to shave your head because you have cancer. And so she was just like making jokes and laughing and taking pictures, and it's like, you just feel for her, and you know that it took so much strength to just like make it a good moment, and to make so many moments for her kid and her husband and her colleagues, great moments when they're probably exhausting for her,
Yeah.
physically and mentally. We saw her so many times hide to throw up, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, it just goes to show how resilient she was, and how good of a person she was. And also, it goes to show how resilient her boyfriend was, because
Yeah,
we tend to focus on the person who has the disease, but it's extremely traumatic for also the people who are around and who are their life are equal, not equally, but like almost equally as affected by the disease as the
yeah,
person who is like dealing with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with all of that. And one of my favorite aspects about the movie was the relationship between Florence and Andrew.
Mhm.
I forgot what it was, Ahmet and Tobias, their names in the
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved their relationship. Tobias had like this very, I don't know, self-aware personality, in my opinion. I
Mm.
really liked everything. Like I his way of reacting to things seemed really authentic and really honest. And I was comparing it to Malcolm and Mary that we
Yeah.
reviewed last week, and there was a conflict scene in that in We Live in Time where they were like just where they
About
weren't
yeah.
arguing, agreeing about something. And I just loved how mature this whole conversation was. It wasn't someone trying to hurt the other person with their words, it was mainly just them trying to explain their point and also understand each other.
Mhm.
And I think that was incredible. Yeah, it was a great movie and it was so well delivered.
Yeah.
And at some point, she realized that Florence Pugh was playing the role of someone who's 34 years old, where
Yeah.
in fact she's 28 and not even 34. She was 34 when they met, and when she had her daughter, I mean, she was obviously older because her
Mhm.
daughter was like, what, 6? So she was playing the role of someone older, and that's very opposite to what
Yeah.
I'm personally used for. We're always used like with older people playing younger roles, and I don't know, it was very refreshing to see someone comfortable being identified as someone
Mhm.
older and not trying to stop time. So yeah, overall, I think it was a really good movie. But yes, more scary than horror movies.
Yeah, I totally agree with you when you say that it was very refreshing to see someone like Florence Pugh portray someone who's 34, because it just very reassuring, I find,
Mhm.
for women to see a woman on screen who is at first pressured to have kids, but she doesn't really feel that pressure. Then she
Yeah.
changes her mind uh, when she first met her boyfriend. She was adamant about the fact that she didn't want any kids, and it's just very refreshing
Yeah.
and very reassuring. And Andrew and Florence are absolutely perfect in these roles. They're very, very natural. Their acting is brilliant. I know, like, when we did our Dune video, I said that I was sick of seeing Timothée and um, Florence. I still stand by what I said about
Yeah.
Timothée, but not Florence, because I guess like I just want them to do something completely different from what they usually do. And to me this was different. Like just hearing Florence speak with her British accent, so she's
Yeah.
British, was
Yeah.
amazing to me. It's
Yeah.
like it changed so many things. And also I haven't seen her in this genre before, in something as simple as this, and it just lets her acting shine, because like the focus is not on the special effects, it's not on the scary effect like Don't Worry Darling, it's not and Midsummer, and it's just about her and her
Yeah.
acting. And Andrew, I haven't seen many things that Andrew did besides Spider-Man and his date with Amelia from the chicken shop date.
Oh,
It's an
right. Yes.
interview, it's not.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, but I haven't seen anything else that he's done. But he's equally as great as Florence, and yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Andrew's work. I've seen him when I was a kid in Spider-Man, but I've also
Mm,
seen him in Tick Tick Boom, and I think he's just such a, I don't know, he's such an actor who's not afraid of being like an emotional actor,
yeah,
and I think that's the beauty about acting. So that was really good. I also loved with this movie, I loved how it was funny at times. Like, yes, it's a
yeah.
sad movie, but I found myself cracking out with
Same.
laughter during a lot of scenes, and I think it was a good balance.
Like the bird scene when she was giving birth, and
Yes, oh my God.
the gas station. And that was a very scary scene, but it was also hilarious. Like everyone was
Yeah,
laughing, and
yeah.
yeah,
I don't know how to feel about that scene because they made it seem so beautiful, but it was about like a woman giving birth in the gas station. It's just like
yeah.
it was like all sorts of disturbing and
Mhm.
nice, and I don't know what it was, but it was such a fun scene.
Yeah, but what was the saddest moment for you? What was like the hardest moment to watch?
The hardest moment was when she was ice skating and saying
Same.
goodbye. I think it was such a beautifully delivered scene because we didn't see her suffer. We
Hmm.
didn't see like it wasn't a sad scene. It was
Yeah.
just a very metaphorical and nice scene. I think that was it. Yeah.
I think so too. When they were just saying goodbye to her, it was such a hard. It's very hard to watch that scene, and you know what? Like this makes me think that maybe we don't even need to see graphic stuff to
Yeah.
just get sad. Like you just need great acting. You know, we were talking about this before going into the movie theater
Yes.
because I started watching the Mendes brother show, that the one that Ryan Murphy did, and if you've watched it on episode 5, I was telling Ruby that the whole episode is literally a monologue of Eric, the guy who plays Eric Cooper, delivering a monologue, and he's not even like crying or like doing anything crazy, but just his delivery is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It just stays with you, it haunts you, and it's the same thing with this movie. You don't have to see it all to be shattered. You just have to you need the good elements. You need great writing, great acting, and a set to
Yeah.
film what you need to film.
Yeah. And it's also better to not see things sometimes because then you give the audience the freedom to think
Yeah.
about it themselves. And especially when it's terrible scenes like in the Mendes brothers, as you were
Mhm.
describing it to me, they were they were talking about things that I don't think I would have been able
Yeah.
to see myself. So it was better to just hear it.
Also, I feel like marketing wise, when you show graphic scenes, like, I mean, let's put horror movies aside, or maybe let's take a horror movie like Terrifier. They based all of their marketing around the fact that it's the scariest, goriest movie ever. And so when you hear that, like, you're automatically curious and you just like decide to go if you're brave in a moment of
Not.
delusional bravery.
Yeah.
Nobody is brave. Everyone is just delusional. And um and it's okay because it's a horror movie. It's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be like a roller coaster ride, and that's it. But if you take something like what Ryan Murphy did with the Mendes brothers, and you just put a lot of gory scenes or like a lot of stuff that are traumatic. Yes, they belong to the stories. Yes, they happened. Maybe they happened that way exactly. But I feel like people aren't going to focus on the story anymore. They're just going to watch the movie because X, Y, and Z scene is like very scary.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And
Mm.
yes, so I think it's just about finding what's the message behind this.
Yeah.
Do you want to scare people or do you want to tell their story or do you want to, I don't know. Yeah.
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 Do
That
you have
sums it up?
anything to add?
No,
No?
I think that's it.
Okay. So go watch it, form your own opinion about it, and happy
T
Halloween if you're celebrating. This video is coming out on Sunday.
the
We're
second.
filming it on Halloween.
Yeah, it's
So,
October 31st.
yeah.
And if you're gonna watch that movie, bring tissue paper with you.
Yeah.
Must need it.
It's gonna be so worth it.
Much needed. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.